What's up, guys? Duster McDangles back here with another video, and welcome back to the NHL season preview series here back in the Atlantic Division. And we are going to be taking a look at the Buffalo Sabres here today, guys. We'll take a look at how they finished last year, players that have left, players that they've brought in, take a look at team stats, take a look at projected lines, as well as my future predictions for them. But before we do get into this episode here today, guys, be sure to hit that subscribe button. On the screen now are actually the stats of you guys, and the majority of you are not subscribed to the channel. Be sure to hit that subscribe button if you guys like NHL videos. We're going to be doing it all season long, getting into it this year. Really excited for that, so subscribe, stick around. But let's go ahead, without further ado, hop into it and take a look at the Buffalo Sabres. Having had a decent year last year, the Buffalo Sabres surprised a lot of people and did a lot better than what the experts had predicted. The Sabres finished the year off with a record of 32, 39, and 11, which was good enough for 75 points on the year, finishing 5th in their division behind the Boston Bruins, who actually had 107 points. So the disparity between the points was pretty large, and that's a little bit due to the fact of their team stats. Goals for, they were ranked 22nd in the league. Goals against, they were 25th. Power play was 21.2%, which is decent for power play stats, but their PK, 76.4%. At the end of the day last year, they just did not have enough goal scorers. They had some bright spots on their team, that's for sure, but not enough of them. Leading point getter last year, Tage Thompson, who they also signed a big ticket this offseason, 68 points in 78 games played. Jeff Skinner actually had a somewhat decent year, 80 games played with 63 points. Rasmus Dahlin, 53 points in 80 games played. Victor Olofsson with 49 points in 72 games played. Then you had Kyle Okposo, Dylan Cousins, so on and so forth after that. So they're going to have to look for a little bit more production from their top guys this year if they want to continue to improve and do better than they did last year. But let's go ahead and take a look at the players that have exited and the players that they've brought in before we go ahead and get into their projected lines. When it comes to the movement of players, there was not a lot of movement of players in and out of the squad. When it comes to the players that have left the squad, you've got defenseman Colin Miller, as well as between the pipes goaltender Aaron Dell having left the squad. So nothing too crazy there, but the players that they've brought in, I think will definitely help. One of them being somewhat of a new player, if you want to call it that, but they've brought in Ilya Lubushkin on the back end. They've also gone ahead and brought in Eric Comrie between the pipes, Riley Sheehan up front as well for some depth, bringing him back. I think he was with the Sabres about 2 years ago. And then rookie skater, I think he had a couple games last year played. We'll have to double check on that. But Jack Quinn, it'll be interesting to see him finally get into a Sabres uniform full time. But those are the players that they've brought in. Now we're going to go ahead and take a look at the lines full time, and actually taking a look at it, Jack Quinn did have 2 games played for the Buffalo Sabres, so barely getting into the league whatsoever. But projected lines up on the screen right now, and again, these are just projections. There could be mixing and matching of these. First line, I mean, it's pretty solid if Jeff Skinner is able to have a year like he did last year. He is up there with Thompson and Olofsson. I mean, for a first line, that is pretty stout. On the second line, you've got Krebs, Tuck, and then Middlestat. I think you've got the question mark of Middlestat to see if he can really have a solid year in the NHL. I think he's still up in the air. But the third line, very interesting there with Cousins and Quinn together. If they do play together, I feel like that could be a dynamite combination. Fourth line, nothing really crazy there. Bjork, Oposo, I mean, depth down the middle, I wouldn't say they're too stacked. Cousins, Thompson, Middlestat, solid players. I think the top 2 centermen they have are Thompson and Cousins, so I would actually expect Cousins to play second line minutes over Middlestat, but who knows. On the back end, you've got Samuelsson, Dahlin, you've got Owen Power and Lubushkin, and then Bryson and Yokiharu. Pretty solid at least enough of 2 pairings there on the back end. And then really one of the bigger question marks for the team is their goaltending, Anderson and Comrie. Who knows if they are able to play up to a standard. I wouldn't say any of those guys are 1A or even 1B on most NHL teams, so it'll be interesting to see how they play this upcoming season, if it's going to be good enough to get the Sabres where they were last year or even better moving forward, trying to get into the 35 to even 40 win range. Who knows with the goaltending and back end, as well as the depth on the forward position, but who knows, they could surprise teams like they did last year, which would be really fun to watch because Buffalo, great sports town. It's always fun to see Buffalo do well, which creates a little bit of rivalry between them, Toronto, and Ottawa, even Pittsburgh, if you want to add them in the mix. And then you got the New York with the Rangers, the whole thing going on there. So it'd be interesting to see that. But now taking a look at their contracts for next season, they've got a couple players that are on ending deals. Kyle Okposo on an unrestricted deal. I think they will end up bringing him back, but on a much cheaper deal. They also do have about $19 million worth of cap space to work with at this point in time. So I think if he also takes a little discount, maybe for like $2 million 2-year deal, it would open up the door to being able to re-sign some other guys. You've got Hinostroza, you've got Bjork, you've got Dylan Cousins, who they're probably want to keep around the squad for a while. Be interesting to see when they get his deal done. Specifically on the back end, Samuelson, I'd say the biggest restricted free agent deal coming up, and then you've got Craig Anderson on the back end. So nothing too crazy when it comes to contracts, considering the fact that they've got so much cap space. I think there will be enough for them to make some moves, keep the players they want around, or even restructure some deals to open it up for potential free agents to come in. Now, whether free agents want to come into Buffalo or not is a completely different story, but who knows with what they're building there. They've got a couple young pieces that are really exciting that I would be excited to go to Buffalo and play with them. It'll be interesting to see what they can put together. But overall, my predictions for the Sabres, I totally expect them to have a very similar year. Might start off a little bit slow or start off really hot, but at some point in the middle part of the season, due to injuries or just things not really clicking, I expect the Sabres to have a little bit of struggle this upcoming season. I don't think they're going to be good enough to get a wild card spot just with other teams in their division. Going to be really tough to compete against Detroit and Ottawa, being two of those teams that have really upgraded from what they were last year. I think Buffalo might be down near the bottom of their division this year. But again, they're going to be an exciting team to watch. I'm really excited to see them play some hockey this upcoming season. Hopefully, maybe in my travels going up to Ontario, maybe stop in and see a game. That'd be pretty cool. But who knows with Buffalo if they'll have a great year or not. I want to say they'll finish up around the 80 to 85 point mark. I don't think they'll be up for a lottery pick, but they won't be good enough to make the playoffs. But let me know what you guys think down below. I want to hear from the Buffalo Sabres fans out there. Who are you guys most excited to see this upcoming season? Is it Thompson? Is it Dahlin? Olofsson? Is it one of the new guys? Is it going to be Quinn? Is it going to be Cousins? Another solid year from him? Is it going to be Owen Power in a full season in the NHL? Let me know what you guys think. I want to hear from you Buffalo Sabres fans. But if you have also made it this far in the video, be sure to hit that subscribe button, hit the like button. You guys have been awesome these past couple of weeks, and we are going to look to continue to keep that rolling here as the season goes on. But that's going to be it for today's episode. If you did enjoy it, hit the like button. But I hope you guys have a good one. And as always, stay dusty.